Hi, and welcome to Modding Mental Health.
A podcast about video games and, well, mental health.
In this third episode, we discuss the beginner's guide. Our conversation includes talking about depression, anxiety, self-harm, and suicide. Thank you for your time and discretion.
Now that you know what's coming your way, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and join us, but please do not perceive us. Welcome into Modding Mental Health, a podcast about video games and mental health. I'm joined here by my lovely co-host, Kat. Hello, Kat.
What's going on?
Well, good evening. Good evening. This is a very late recording time for us, solely because I pushed it back. Thank you, Kat, for...
I'm perfectly fine with that. I relaxed this morning. I got myself a nice cup of coffee. I watched you play one of my favorite games. So, if anything, it was worth the wait. I'm really excited.
I'm also really excited to talk about this. Before we start, though, how's life? Any new things happening with you? Kat tried to run away again.
So, no, she hasn't. So, like, my instinct, it's funny that you asked me this question because I knew you were, of course. And I was rehearsing my answer in my head while I was peeing, as one
Naturally.
does.
I would do the same.
So, I was thinking, like, oh, I haven't really done much. But then I was like, no, Kat, give yourself more credit. You've done a lot.
Yeah.
And essentially, even though what I feel hasn't been productive, I still did 3 loads of laundry, did grocery shopping. My parents came over, so we cleaned the whole entire house and made them dinner. Wyatt made pizza. I made homemade Pop-Tarts.
What flavor?
A lot of different ones. I had blackberry preserves, so that's my favorite. Wyatt requested Nutella, so I filled one with Nutella for him.
I like how Wyatt thinks. And you're like, I didn't do that much.
Well, like, to me, it's like, to me, this is a very toxic way of thinking, but being productive to me means making money or, having something to resemble that in some way.
Welcome to capitalism.
Right? So it's kind of like, yeah, I did all this stuff, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be for my future, which is a very American way of thinking. I think it is. Gotta always grind. Always gotta keep going.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I know. That's what
you don't. You really don't.
That's what the government wants you to
do. Your life matters no matter what, and your productivity doesn't define your worth. No, I feel you. I am very much the same with a lot of things. It's mostly that I think, like, whenever I play video games or something, that's the moment when I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything productive. Unless, of course, I record it and stuff. Because for now, that's my full-time job, because I am currently not employed because I'm sick.
I'm sick.
You whore. Is that what she says?
Boo, you whore.
Boo, you whore. That's it. Oh man. But yeah, so so I do feel productive when I do it, because that's how I structure my week and my days currently. So
right.
Do you want to hear about what I did on this weekend?
Yes. Well, of course.
I went wedding dress shopping with my mom and my best mate.
Did you decide on any dress yet? Well, I didn't know if this was like a low-key thing or if people knew. Because I know some people don't want... But yes, you went dress shopping, and I saw so many photos, and I was so, gushed over it, and I was... Oh, Messenger is going to be such a beautiful bride. I cannot wait.
You're so sweet. I think so. I sent the final one. I sent that to some people. I think you were one of the ones that I sent. Did I send you the final one too?
The one with the pretty
No! Don't say it! 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 Yeah.
I'm doing hand gestures.
Yes, that one. No, because I sent multiple people. With some people I haven't confirmed which one I went with,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to keep it kind of as a secret. And then some people I haven't said anything at all. So the ones who now are in the know is like a very tiny circle of people, and you're one of the elite who know.
Well, now oh man, wow. Maybe you shouldn't have told me that, because now.
Now you have to keep it a secret. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you do.
I cried today. Do you want to know why?
Why is that? Why did you cry today, the little messenger? Please enlighten us.
Transition. Because I played the beginner's guide.
Woo!
Because you told me to play this game.
Yay!
It is so sad.
It's not sad. I think it's eye-opening to perspectives.
Yeah.
Okay, it is sad. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like it's more anxiety-inducing than sad. I have so many words to say about the game.
All right. I'll start real quick. Give it a little note thing, and then let's get back into it. So, how I understand the game, we have a narrator who is the game developer. His name's is it Davey?
It's Davey, yeah.
Who is the same? Like, this game came out, I think, 2 years after the Stanley Parable came out, which is his other game. And this game basically says that it's meshed together by multiple different games that this game developer Coda made. Coda is a person that Davey says that he met at like a gaming conference. They're like a gaming thingamajig. And he then got sent like personal links to Coda's developments, whether they're finished or not, and then he played through them. And this game is basically all of them packed together, packed with a narration from Davey telling us about the game, about Coda, about his relationship with him, about all these things, and how he perceived the game at points, his expectations, his reasoning behind things he did, and so on and so forth. And yeah, you kind of like walk through those different levels. Sometimes you get to skip certain bits because they might be too hard or something like that. Sometimes you get explanations on how to do certain things to go further. And we learn how Davey perceives Coda, because Coda is only sending these game links to Davey. At least that's what we think we know. It's very, very private. And Davey thinks Coda should put himself out there, because he sees that there's like frustration that Coda isn't getting further in what Davey perceives that he needs to do. And so Davey does the thing that he sends some games to his friends from Coda's, and his friends love the games. They have like a very positive reception to it. Inevitably, though, it leads to Coda not producing games anymore. And the ending is very gut-wrenching, where basically Davey is shouting into the void for Coda to recognize that he's sorry and that he just wants to talk again, and that's why he's releasing all of these games from Coda, which is again the thing that Coda didn't want to do.
That got him in the situation in the first place.
Yeah, to get a reaction and to get something, because he can't reach Coda anymore. And Coda doesn't want to talk to him anymore. So that's like kind of a very small thing. I don't think I realized at the very start how much of an unreliable narrator Davey would be. And like only as you got further along, it's like, oh, wait, he's kind of pushing me into maybe certain things I wouldn't have thought maybe not. Maybe I actually think the same way. I don't know. I was very confused and I cried, and it was it was pretty gut-wrenching for me, I would say.
Yeah.
So why did you, I mean, I see certain ways why you recommended this to me, because certain things resonated with me a lot.
So before I get into my takeaways and experience from the game, would you like me to tell you the actual story behind the beginner's guide? Not what you took away, but
Yes.
the like.
Mm-hmm.
So the designer is actually Davey, and
Mm-hmm. I thought so, but I wasn't
so
sure.
Davey is the narrator, and Coda
Mm-hmm.
is essentially supposed to be a representation of David again, or Davey. And
That's why it's like kind of like code or something. Coder,
I
coder.
think so, maybe. And hold
Mm-hmm.
this thought because that's interesting to think about. Um, so it's essentially Davy's depression after the Stanley Parable got such high praise, and he was
Mm-hmm.
essentially devastated by the idea that he could not make something that would live up to that high potential that got him such high praise the first time. Because, imagine you make something your first time and it gets such high praise, you would be terrified to put like another thing out just in case it
Mm-hmm.
didn't reach what everybody's thoughts would be for it.
No, absolutely. That's a very like that's how I lived my childhood.
Right.
You know, when you get one A after the other, you're terrified of the idea of ever getting a B because you can't ever live up to your standards.
Right.
Yes. Anyways.
See, yeah. And I think everybody can perceive that type of emotion and they could
Mm-hmm.
put it into their own life and their own story. When I first played this game, I was 15, and I only played it because one of my favorite YouTubers at the time, Chilled Chaos. I don't know what he does now, but
Let's hope he's not problematic.
I don't think he is. He's
That's good.
completely
That's good.
AWOL now that I know of. Introduced me to it, and being at this age now and looking back at when I first played it, I know I attached to it so heavily because of the things I was going through at the time. I
Mm-hmm.
realize that now. At the time, I totally would have just been like, oh, I like it. It has a good message. Um, no, it's definitely because I related to it so subconsciously without even like realizing it. But yeah, I have some questions I would like to ask you about just some thought blurbs because my notes are very messy. You can see any of
Wow.
that.
There's so many notes
Yeah, I
though.
was like I
Okay.
had so many thoughts when I was watching you play, and they're
Mm-hmm.
probably going to be a little out of order because my thoughts are out of order constantly.
Hey, same. So, please, this. What was it? Was it at some point this podcast supposed to be named something with ADHD?
I think so.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I
Might
think
have
so,
been.
definitely. So let's see here. So is there anything that you like took away? So like what does this game mean to you personally?
There were I think there were two things. Looking back specifically that I want to just think about a little bit more.
Mhm.
Because I mean, in general, I'm trying to be more mindful about things. Like I don't know if I made that clear or not yet, but I have depression. It's a I don't know what the name is in English, but it's the type that comes and goes, but it comes back, which is lovely. And I'm currently in like an episode, so I think that's also why it was really easy to make me cry today. Is I'm just going through it, but it made me the. I think there was a moment when one of the first times you get introduced to the door puzzle, which is a puzzle where you first have to click a lever on the first door, then you click it again and walk into a space between two doors while it closes, and then you're faced with another door where there is no lever, but if you turn around you can see that there's a lever now on the inside of the door that just closed behind you. If you pull that, you can go through the next door. And I think the narrators, like Davy's voice, described that the space between the two doors is nice because you can kind of be mindful, and you can stop for a second and just see one thing closing before you open another thing. You can kind of end a thing that has been happening for a while. You can come to a close. You can find closure here, and then you can take a little bit of a breath, a bit of a breather, and then you walk out of it again to the next part. So that is something that resonated with me a lot, and something that made me think, because I feel like I'm in this place where I rush through things a lot. It's always been like this. So I did the thing, like I finished school, I started university right away. Even in between that, like 2 or 3 months, I did a completely voluntary internship at a library, completely unpaid. But I did that to not have any gaps in my CV. How silly. So I did that right away. And then literally the day after I graduated university officially was the day I started my first job. This semester, one semester I ended my bachelor, the very next semester, so technically the next day I started my master. I never had a break in between those things, and I've never actually stood there and was like, okay, this is where one thing comes to a close now, and now I'm ready to start the next thing, which definitely maybe kind of might be a thing that led me down this path of kind of running out of energy at some point. Because it turns out if you keep driving and you don't have any fuel left in your tank, your car will at some point break down.
Right, you burn out, literally.
So I think, yeah, literally. So I think I just have to now be again a little bit more mindful now and be like, maybe I can actually use this time that I have now to, I don't know, just see what this thing is in between things and explore this a little bit more. And I think that's why I think it was just like one sentence or something. It wasn't even a big part of the game, but it resonated with so much with me.
Right. The whole game is pretty quotable.
Yeah.
I have so many, there's been quotes from the beginner's guide that have been saved in my notes on my iPhone that have just been like updated with me throughout the years. So it's like,
I love that.
It's so nice to have other people experience it for me now.
I'm so glad you made me experience it. I'm gonna replay it again too, because if you're like on stream, you have like multiple things happening at the same time, and I think I meant to play it yesterday completely on my own, and I forgot. And that's why I kind of
I'm glad I saw you play it. Honestly, that was refreshing.
I think it was really cool to share that with people, because like, do you see the reactions of people too?
Yeah.
Like, I think at the very end, everybody's like, "Oof! Oh boy!
Yeah.
Oh no!
And nobody.
What's happening?"
What I love about that is that I don't think anybody expected that type of ending. You know, everybody was so convinced, like Coda offed himself, that that was it, and it turns out no, it was.
That's what I thought, that Coda had died by suicide in the end, but nope.
It's been Davy the whole entire time, and I think it's really smart to have, because when you start off, you trust the narrator. I think any game you play, you trust the person's storytelling.
Exactly.
You grow a connection to them. Like, this person has helped me. They've created shortcuts for me. They're like telling the story. They're being vulnerable. And then it happens so fast. It's like whiplash almost, because it's within like the last 2 chapters of this 17 chapter story that suddenly this person that narrated your whole hour existence essentially has been lying to you in some way. Indirectly. I would say he's projecting. It's a lot of projection is happening from Davy. And I think it's really interesting. I would say, share a similar story as, like, I graduated high school, immediately started university, was doing something. I worked over the summer, um, I worked at my high school actually. I was just like a
Mm-hmm.
student custodian. So that was from
Mm-hmm.
5 a.m. to 2 p.m., the hours I worked. So I did that over the summer almost every year until COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think recently I would say this last year, almost, yeah, last year and a half, I have totally hit a wall. And that's why I've medically withdrew from university. I was in
Mm.
essentially my last few semesters. I think I have 3 left, but if I hadn't slowed down so much, I think I would be graduating next semester. But I
Mm-hmm.
had slowed down so much. I went from like a high GPA grade point average to something that wasn't what I normally have as a student, to the point where teachers are messaging me like, "Hey, are you okay? This is unlike you."
Mm-hmm.
So just going through all that process. But now I think I'm in that space that you described, that the space between the doors of just trying to figure out what's forward, what's next. Because right now I feel like I'm at a standstill because I'm not doing anything quote unquote what I would call productive, because I'm not doing schoolwork and I'm technically not doing anything that's making steady money right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still also trying to figure out what's happening. Because if I was still in school, I don't think I would have agreed to do this podcast with you. I don't think I would have had time
Mm-hmm.
or like the mental capability. So being able to say yes to this and then just to see where this goes, whether it's for fun or if,
But then
just,
also, like, if this is the last episode, I'm still happy I did this.
yeah,
Like,
same.
it doesn't.
So you and I, this is the most we've ever talked probably, which I'm happy about.
I know. I'm
Um,
so grateful for that because, yeah, because we do share like a lot of similar mindsets, but then each of us brings like a certain uniqueness to
mhm.
this, which is very like nourishing for me. It's very nice for me to talk to you because you have a different perspective on some
Right,
things,
and you too.
and it's really good to shift perspective sometimes. Like for me, that's really helpful. Not to get too mushy.
Very mushy.
Uh,
Um, I would assume that your favorite game or puzzle was at the door.
yeah. Was it the? I guess. Okay, one more moment that I really liked. I first got annoyed and then I really liked it was when you were in the house and you were in a loop of doing the dishes, of cleaning the sofa, of doing that. So I was first annoyed when it started over again because it was like, oh, I gotta do this again. But at some point, I was just like, this is nice now. This feels safe. I know what I can expect and I like it. And then when it got taken away from me, I was so mad. I was actually so sad.
So it's so interesting you say that, because that's almost what it talks about, is that you grow comfortable in your
Mm-hmm.
routine of positivity. And I think you even said it yourself. I wrote it down. You said, "Can we just like stay here for 5 more minutes?" And that kind of broke my heart,
Yeah, that's
because
yes.
knowing
I
the
said,
game,
oh,
knowing the game and the story, when you said that, that broke my heart. Well, I'm picturing Messenger like visually. So in my head, I think of you, like a room full of clouds and rainbows, and then all of a sudden it's like someone just like turned off the light, and then everything that was white and fluffy is suddenly like black, and you're like, "Can we just stay here for like 5 more minutes?" We can't. You have to walk through the door, you have to go forward and find the other right place. And that's really
oh my
hard.
god,
Right?
cat.
It's true, because that's immediately what I thought of, and I was like,
You make
"Oh,
me
oh,
cry.
baby. I give you
No,
kisses."
that's so right. But it's like hard, right? So especially when you have like depression, it's sometimes easier to stay sitting in your own misery than because you know it's familiar.
Of course.
And then going forward and doing the work on yourself and like just throwing yourself out there into that door and searching for the new happy place, like you said, is so scary. It's so scary. You don't know anything, and you catastrophize in your head. It's like, but what if I get hurt? But then you don't see that this nothing could be as bad as where you are right now. It just doesn't seem as bad because you don't have a perspective on the different side of it.
And you know what's interesting about the game is I don't think your character ever gets hurt, which I think Davey points out. Like, there are never any enemies in the game.
That's true.
There's never anything like that.
You just expect it, right?
Yeah, of course, like, because that's the energy it brings, but then it never happens. So I think we get scared by our own anxieties. We make problems bigger than we actually are because we're terrified. But I would say one of my favorite puzzles was the one where you have to walk backwards, because I thought that was just so brilliantly done that it caught me so off guard when I first played it. I remember I verbally gasped. I'll never get over that. So blown away. But essentially, the game is you can only walk backwards. The first words in front of you are the past was always behind her. And then when you keep moving backwards, and then you turn around and it says but the future cannot be seen.
What does it say in like the very end? Yes, so this like when she stops, it becomes and looks clearer. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it? When I read that, I was like, there's also certain rooms, locations that are chosen specifically to induce certain feelings, like the lecture hall. Because
the typewriters.
First, yeah, is it the typewriter?
That's just another scene that makes you feel things. I know when I first got to the
comments.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I mean, I think it's a little bit before that. So first you're a student and you hear the professor talk how there's this one solution to being the person that others want to be, so that the other people are envious of, so that you're the better person, you're the happier person, you're the more perfect person. And then it switches to the lecturer side. And what you then see is there's like a giant void,
black hole.
Yeah, at the other side of the lecture hall. The students are sitting to it with their bags, and you just like have to kind of give this talk about how you reach this perfection, and you can select between different things, and it's something. It makes you very anxious.
What did you take away from that?
I think Davey said the same thing, that you never know like what someone is going through, or like what monsters they're like facing. They may seem so perfect to you and may have it all figured out, but you don't know.
See,
you can't know.
That one scene. So I've always said this. Anyone who lectures you, or anyone that just says that they're perfect and they can't reach another level of perfection, and that person doesn't want to learn anymore, but they're lecturing you about something, they're full of shit. That's what I believe. Is that anyone that preaches to you that they're perfect and you need to reach their level of perfection is complete projection, and they're full of shit. And that's why when you go to the professor's or the lecturer's point of view, he's talking into a hole. Everything he's saying, he doesn't believe because he's saying it to the void. There's nothing there.
Oh gosh, yes.
He's saying it to nothing. So he doesn't even take seriously what he's saying because there's only one person listening. If you look, there's only one person in the room that's listening. Everything else, he's just shouting it to the void because he doesn't even believe it himself. That's what I took away from that.
It makes sense. That makes sense. Yep. Nope. Yep. Yeah. No. Freaking Lulu. Okay, yeah. And then also when you're on the stage, is that after that? I think that's after that.
Yeah.
And it like all the lights hit you. I jumped when all the lights came on. I like jumped. I was like, no, turn them off again. Help. Please help me. I don't want this. Yeah, all this intention kind of focused on you. That was a tough one. I feel what followed, that you're not doing it right. The narrators, like the game voice, not Davy in that sense, but the game voice that is texting to you is mad at you for being scared.
You're not doing the dialogue correctly or something, and they get upset with you. So Davy talks a lot about Coda's work and how he finds his own emotional comfort within it, which is why he wants Coda to keep creating games so he can find his own emotional comfort within it. I think a lot of us could have that, or a lot of us do have that with musicians or artists or streamers. I'm sure a lot of people do. I know I do with artists. I'll be completely transparent and say I am like that with Billie Eilish. I love her music. I'm a complete fangirl of her. She could step on me and I would say thank you. Anyways, so Davy projects like a lot of his own emotional discouragement onto Coda.
Yes.
And he makes a comment that Coda deletes a lot of his work or unfinished work if he's not like feeling it, kind of. And Davy makes a comment that he doesn't like that. He doesn't like that Coda just deletes his things. I want to ask, do you relate more to Coda or Davy?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Or that's a good question. My therapist would always say, "Well, what's the good answer?" So I would. I don't know if it's a cop out, but I had both because different parts of me need different things. Like there's two wolves in me, and one wants to produce and one wants to consume.
Yeah, no, that's solid.
That's it. And then I do this same thing with unfinished projects. Like I have so much material that I meant to turn into things and I never did. I would say it's maybe another ADHD thing. You just start 10,000 projects and it's really hard to finish something. I'd rather start something again to have the rush of like the new thing happening. And I'm sometimes not happy with things, so I'd rather just delete them than to... Oh yeah, that's it. I would rather delete the things than to edit them. God forbid I should ever edit something and make it better. I hate that so fucking much. Like when I would write papers, I would rather have a worse grade than to go to my professor and ask them for what I could do better, because then I would have to go back and read my whole thing again and change things, and that only the thought of it makes me frustrated right now. Like I barely proofread my thesis when I edited them, and I hated it. Oh, it was so tedious work. I didn't want to do it.
Naughty.
I did it. I did proofread it, and it couldn't have been that bad because it was a good grade, but still, I understand the thought of rather scrapping something than continuing on it and working to make it better. And then also, I do the same thing like with you in Billie Eilish. Like I love to. I have my I don't know. So I'm partly obsessed with some content creators, and for a time that's the only thing I will consume. Only them. Like now, that's so random, but for right now, I will watch VODs that are like days or weeks old from a content creator called Kyo.
I did that with Hassan.
Kyo is like a Valorant streamer, and I will watch his like ass old VODs playing Valorant because I'm like, I don't know, he's my comfort content right now. It makes me happy, and then I will watch lots of, I don't know, I go in between like different YouTubers. Like I don't know, because I'm a gamer. I had my Mark face, I had my Jack face, and so on and so forth. Currently, I'm actually watching both of them again. I don't know, back to 2015 apparently. And then also I recently discovered that I love Sean's girlfriend. So Gab Smulders is another content creator, like comfort content creator of mine right now. Like I love her content so much. She
Oh,
has like an incredible voice. I have to start gushing over her. But then also like music people. Like I was devastated when Chester died by suicide because Linkin Park was like my comfort thing, and I've never missed an album because I fucking love them so
that was
much.
me with Mac Miller's Overdose.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really love Mac Miller, like a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I know some people still aren't over that, me being one of them. But
No, I don't think it's something you can just get over. That's such a, I don't know, that's such a boomer thing to say.
yeah, no, I
Oh,
agree.
I don't know. So who can I check the question right back at you?
Yeah.
Like, who do you relate more?
So I would say Coda, and I've always thought
Mm-hmm.
Coda for many reasons, which I thought was interesting because when I was in your chat and you were playing it, I think only one person said that they saw Coda's perspective because I think everyone else was kind of wild and out. I would be like that too.
Yeah,
And I was like, thank you. Like
I see.
this
Yeah.
person gets it.
I think the person said because the person said that as someone with autism, they relate to Coda a lot,
Right.
and they can see some like similarity there. Actually, can I go back real quick?
Sure.
I do relate to Davey more just because of that. The very end, he said the thing with external validation, and I am a bitch for external like
I
validation.
want to hit
That's
that point too.
that point. I think if I just go to that point, that's the thing that I need sadly, and I need to find a way to give that to myself. That's my journey right now. I'm working on it, and I need to find a way that especially external criticism doesn't want to make me crawl into a ball and never get up again. That's the thing. I have to work on that.
I'll put
I'm
a
working on
sound
it.
clip. I'll put a sound clip in, but there's a quote Davey says where he essentially is saying more, 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 always more. Like he always more praise, love. I forget what the other ones are. I'll put it in now.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
But he says all of that, and to me, so you crave external validation, right? Is that from anybody? Like, could anybody give you validation and you like receive that?
Yeah. Well, first, yes. Second, I don't know if I'm gonna. I might tell you later, but like who I definitely like. I'm not gonna expose myself that much. But
Mm-hmm.
there are some people who I think if I got more validation from that, I would say it's like more authority figures. I think that is like, or people who I see as authority figures.
Right.
Maybe.
Totally.
Not necessarily outwardly that. I'm not going to go into specifics. I might tell you in private.
Right. Sure. No, that's fine. No, because same, that's what I was kind of gonna get at because I'm always seeking praise. I guess you could dub it as validation, but I'm always seeking some type of praise.
Mm-hmm.
And it always kind of changes depending on what the project is.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if I have like a million people telling me I'm great or doing good things. If that one person does not say it to me, I don't care. And it really doesn't matter. And I hate that about myself. It's like you could be my best friend or a group of people and be like, Kat, that was amazing. That was awesome. But if the one person I really wanted to show it to looks at it and says, oh, okay, cool. And that's all I got from them. And they pushed it to the side like it was something I worked on for 5 minutes. I'm heartbroken.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when I want to get back to how Davey doesn't agree with work being deleted because when I become frustrated or burned out when I'm in the middle of a project and I can't see past like a mistake I made, or I can't see past this little bump, I delete the whole entire thing and start over. Because the first time wasn't good enough and I refuse to edit that short little 5 seconds that is throwing me off. I delete the whole entire thing because it's not tainted in my mind suddenly because that little part didn't flow correctly the way I wanted it to, and the times I tried to make it flow, it doesn't work. The whole entire thing is just the devil to me. I get rid of it. And I used to do that with school papers too. If I would write a paragraph that made absolutely no sense, but the rest of the paper is completely fine, delete. Whole entire thing's deleted. Start over. And that's a terrible mindset to get into. I believe that's my OCD, but or so my therapist says. But
Interesting. See, I think my perfectionism does the different thing. I just don't even start projects if I know I'm not gonna be perfect at them. So I just don't do it.
I like that too. It's my perfectionism is I start it, get so frustrated that I can't do it. I've gotten better about stopping and saving. So Wyatt has gotten me actually into the habit of
Good.
When I start to feel that way, I will save my work and then I'll come back to it in a few hours or maybe a few days. And
that is very smart.
That's worked out. But sometimes when I really just can't get by it and it's been a few days, I end up deleting it, which is fine. I think that's fine. But I'm a lot better now than I used to be. So
I think that's really good. I'm learning that myself actually currently. The saving, stepping away, giving it a moment. Because I used to be in the mindset if you can't finish a project in one sitting, it's not worth finishing. Because that's also what I do sometimes. I hyper focus on something and then 5 hours goes by and I'm like, oh shit, I needed to pee for the last 2 hours and now my bladder feels like it's bursting and it's so painful.
I treat that
TMI.
No, but not TMI at all, because Messenger, I treat peeing and stuff like that like a reward when I'm editing and I'm like, okay, if I finish this, I'll go pee. That's my reward. I'll allow myself to pee. And then Wyatt's like, that's self-harm, Kat. Stop doing that. I'm fine. I just gotta finish. When I finish this, then I'll go pee.
You know, Ashley, I need to go pee.
You want to take a pee break? You want to have a pee break right now? Okay, we're taking a pee break.
I keep the recording running.
No, it's gonna keep going. We're taking a pee break though.
We're gonna keep the break in. Oh, do you know she's beautiful? Okay.
Hi.
Hi. What?
You know
what? I'm proud of us for doing this.
So am I, honestly.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
No, that was literally like an in-life example of that thing. Because I've been staring at I have a lovely alcohol-free beer here. And I've been staring at it for how long have we been going in an hour? Because I knew if I had to drink it, I would have to go pee more, and I couldn't allow myself to take a break.
We got it. So, which actually makes me want to ask this from you. What is a guilty habit you have that keeps you from your peace?
Guilty.
Because, for an example, me editing videos to stop myself from peeing, that kind of keeps me from my peace. Even you said earlier you can't enjoy playing a video game without streaming it because you feel like that's wasting time.
Yeah, so if I in the moment it's fine. If I look back, I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything.
Really? Mine's in the moment.
And then I beat myself up. Really?
I can't sit and enjoy something because I'm constantly in my head you could be doing this. Why aren't you doing that? You could be using this time to be productive, and it isn't until a few days later where I'm like, wow, I should have just let myself relax. I should have just been fine.
I think for me, it's in the moment if I know there's a specific thing I ought to be doing instead. If I have in my brain that you should be, but then again, I have a bird brain, so when it's like you should be doing the laundry, as if I remember to do the laundry. Like it can be sitting there in the machine, and then at night when I have to go brush my teeth, I'm like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
gotta do this, I guess.
I have alarms set to remind me of those things.
That's so smart. I forget to set the alarm. That's the only issue.
Yeah,
with
that can be the issue too.
Yeah, I think it's more for me. I think it's more like in hindsight, and then keeping me from doing that because I stopped myself before that going play video games. I stopped before. Oh, and it's easier if I do it with friends because then I can like say it's quality time that I spend with them. I guess that's I've been recently mostly only be playing games when we're with friends. Okay, so the piece for me it's scrolling through TikTok when I should be enjoying other things.
Yeah.
Like I can't. I think I might just have to put like a thing on the app that I can't access it on, and unless it's plugged into a charger or something like that.
Do you have notifications for those apps turned on?
No. I have all notifications off on
So do
none
I.
of because that makes me anxious. That like notifications make me so anxious.
It just makes me click on it and then I get distracted and then I'll just keep scrolling. So it's just easier for me to not have them off because I know eventually I'll check it, and that's better than to just constantly be at someone's snap of fingers whenever my phone turns on. I hate that. Sorry if I missed your message. It's because I just didn't have my phone around me to check.
So yeah, I guess we're just keeping ourselves. In the end, we're keeping ourselves from our own peace. We just find ways that we do that. It's not surrounding things, it's how we handle the things that surround us. Whoa.
No. God. Were you surprised at all by the ending?
Yes.
Completely?
Yes, I was surprised. Yeah, it took me completely by surprise. I think I had said earlier when he first said that he shared Coda's games, I was like, oh, shouldn't have done that.
I saw that reaction from you too.
I saw, so it, like when I then found out, first it hit me because I think I almost forgot again that happened. And then as it kept going, I was like, yeah, you know what? Makes sense. But in the first moment, I was very surprised.
Davey makes a comment that said he doesn't know Coda. Like, he knows absolutely nothing about this person. And I think that's because he was projecting so much of himself onto someone that probably tried to be his friend back. Coda instead couldn't take it anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think every creator needs to create something that needs to have meaning. Things can be created to just be created.
I love that.
You know, do you remember being young and making a Sims build in like The Sims 2? You know how big we would make those houses? They were huge.
Yeah.
Why? Because we could. Did anything make sense? No. You're exploring what things do, you add things. And I think that's really, at the end of the day, I think that's all Coda was doing. And Davey projected so much onto prisons and the meaning behind all these different jail cells or whatever you want to call it, that it just spiraled him into being his own worst enemy. Which is actually...
That is so true.
From earlier, you said, is that why they named him Coda? I don't know, but that could be just a funny coincidence. If you want to make that connection in your head, I feel like that's the freedom of creativity. You could totally make that connection. It's the same with fan theories. Those don't hurt anybody. Are they fun? Totally. Do some of them work? Totally. Does that mean it's canon? No. Is that what the creator intended to happen? No, but they're still fun to think about.
Also,
Same with music.
can I add to that real quick?
Yeah.
Just real quick. I need to add. Also, once a creator puts something into the world, whatever is not written inside the text and only like presumed by the creator or something, that doesn't matter. Like everything that the creator puts upon a text, however you want to define text, could be like a video game, could be something else. Whatever the creator like imposes on it after it's been published and after it's been written and after like everything is set to stone, like it's never mentioned in the canon that this character's mom's name is Mary, right? For instance. And then fans ask the creator like, what's the name of their mom? And the creator is like, oh, it's Mary. It is worth the exact same as if someone else would be like, no, it's actually Susan. Because at the moment of the publication, the creator loses all power that they had over the text. Either they've written it into the canon or they haven't. So everything, the creator holds no power. That's what I'm saying after the publication. So this is why I particularly hate it when people, don't want to be named them, go onto Twitter and post things about their text and then treat fan theories and say, actually, that's wrong because in my brain I thought of something else. No, bitch. Guess what? You don't have power here anymore. It doesn't matter.
I was about to say, how do you feel so entitled?
That's why I love Neil Gaiman, because people ask Neil Gaiman all kinds of stuff the entire time, and then Neil Gaiman's answer is like, if you want to believe that, believe it. It's cool. I didn't write it into my text. It doesn't mean it's less true because you believe it's true. As long as it doesn't like completely go against what I wrote, you can make it true. It's in your hand. And whatever I say is true or not doesn't matter. So that's what I mean. Like, okay, sorry. I just had to go on that tangent there.
No, I liked it. There's also this other quote that Davey said, and I think it caught you too. He said, "It's strange, but I kind of miss being in a prison." When you were playing all those, I think Coda's making different types of prisons, and you quickly go through a bunch of them. And I can relate to that, and I think a lot of people can. Especially, I don't know how deep I should go into this, but as someone else who suffers with depression and doing unpleasant things to themselves, it is known that once you get out of doing said unpleasant things, you can miss it. And that's a very morbid thought to cope with. And I didn't realize how real that thought was until I started talking to more people about it. Like, it's more normalized than I think.
Yeah, no. Yes, very, very
You're
much so.
so comforted in a pattern that you've been used to living in for so long that when you come out of that, especially when it's like happiness, I would say, it's so scary and surreal that you almost kind of want to go back to the place that you were in for so long because there's familiarity in that. Is it good for you? Absolutely not. But that's one of the difficulties. I'm grimacing.
Yeah. I know, I get that. And I think that goes back to the metaphor that you used earlier, which I love that. When you sit in a room and it's bright and sunshines and rainbows, and then someone turns off, or like maybe you yourself turn off the light is off, and you would rather sit there than go out of the room, go and search for the next bright place, because the space in between is just very daunting, and then makes you want to go back, even though it's like horrible there. At least there's a warmth of family. I can't talk. You know what I mean. English is not my first language. Thank you. It's a hard word to say for a second.
English is hard. It doesn't make sense more than half the time.
Yeah.
Ain't that just like that, though?
That's just
there,
life. What's... Oh gosh. Yes. No. I love that a lot.
So there was Oh, man, I feel awful that I don't remember what part this was from. I think this is when you were the lecturer. Correct me if I'm
Mm-hmm.
wrong, if you remember. But you had a decision to pick between 3 choices. It was quick, quiet, and brutal. Remember?
Oh, that was when you were gonna torture the machine. And then
Oh,
you
right,
say
okay.
if you're gonna make
Correct.
it quick,
Totally.
quiet, or brutal. Yes.
Right. You're totally right. Thank you. You picked quick.
Yep.
Why is that?
I wanted it to be over.
Wanted it to be over.
Also, I didn't. Was it actually quiet? Was that one of the options? I thought there was something else. Really? Then I guess I
It
didn't
was
read
quick,
it
quiet, and
correctly.
brutal.
Because I thought it was another horrible choice. I just thought. I guess I must have. I guess I must have glossed over it then.
Unless I'm completely wrong, but I'm pretty
Well,
sure it's quiet because
it does make sense. Oh yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Quick, quiet, and brutal. I wonder why I didn't pick quiet.
See, I thought that was interesting because I'm one to pick quiet.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I actually really don't know about this, but I guess in the moment it made sense to me. I think because it was, I think maybe I had an association of like smothering the machine,
Just to get it over with.
and I think I'd rather had it over quick. Yeah, I would rather have it over with. I think. Yeah, I think that must have been my thought.
When I think quiet, I think of like an assassination where I'm not necessarily seen or they don't know what's going to happen. What I picked, which I also find ironic because at the very end, Davy's presented with a dialogue from Coda that essentially calls him out that Coda doesn't want to speak to Davy ever again. And he says, when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
Oh, yes. I almost forgot that.
Davy did not take that advice by not saying anything.
No.
He shared everything. So, do you think he really learned, and should Coda be his friend again?
But in the very end, he was. Right? At the very end of the game, he says, like, maybe at the very end, I'll leave you alone. I should just. And then he just fades out. And then you left alone at the very end walking this thing, right? Not wrong?
I don't think you're wrong. I think he's just saying he's just trying to cope with this thing inside of himself. And he needs Coda help learn how to love himself. So would you say it's a sad ending for Coda, Davy, or both?
I would say it's sadder for Davy because it doesn't seem to. I mean, also because we have his perspective directly. So, he seemed very like happy and enthusiastic the entire time, and at the very end, he's just desperate and sad. So it feels more sad in that sense. It is very sad for Coda as well, though, because Coda is forced to stop what he presumably loved doing because someone invaded that space for him. But it seems as if Coda has found a way to put an end there, to close the door, while Davy is still chasing something and can't help himself from chasing it. I think that makes it more tragic to me.
I love that you say that because another comment you made while you were playing, there was a chapter where Coda made a bunch of speech bubbles and they were everywhere. It was like word vomit almost of random comments, self-deprecation comments, or flattery comments. You said the bubbles aren't meant to be read. And that, knowing the game, when you said that, I thought that was really powerful. And I was like, she gets it. You're completely right. They're not. I don't think any of those bubbles are supposed to be read because they're just thoughts. I don't think they mean anything. You know, like sometimes.
Yeah.
I love writing, not necessarily block quotes, but I like writing either little words I say that are random or song lyrics. Like I'll just write them down over and over again. I don't know why, just because I like it. It has no meaning to me half the time. It's just stuck in my head. And that's why I do it. But I feel like if someone were to come across and see that, and I'm writing, fuck if I know, Burger King foot lettuce over and over again on my notes, someone's gonna think I have an issue. You know what I mean? Like, it's really no, I just have that vine stuck in my head, and it's the best way to get it out.
Yeah.
Not everything, going back to that,
Mhm.
not everything has to have a reason. Not everything has to have a solution. Shit happens sometimes.
Or meaning, or deeper thought, or anything. It's some things are just there because they're there, and that's it. Also, I think yes, with the thought thing, think. You can't control your
No,
subconscious.
I have so many
So-
intrusive, inappropriate thoughts. Would never, I don't even know, just like random shit that I would never say ever that I think. And I'm like, why? Why?
Yeah. It's like, where did that thought come from? So that's why also I think someone once said to me, it's not your first thoughts that define who you are and that say if you're like a shit person or not. It's the second thought. It's if you like go like, whoa, whatever I just thought there, no, maybe not, or something like, you know, if you actually do that, or like that's what counts, because sometimes your subconscious is just pulling things from anywhere and it's like, whoa, am I problematic? Don't answer that, I know that I am.
Hi, it's me.
Hi. I'm the problem.
It's me.
Yeah.
Cute.
Okay. Do you have a lot more questions, or do we want to jump to the rating?
My last question is essentially just about the ending credit song.
Oh.
If you heard it or listened to it or plan on re-listening to it, I think it's
Did it say step away from the game?
no.
Or leave the game? What did it
It's
say?
called Turn Back. It's a soundtrack from The Beginner's Guide, produced by Ryan Roth.
Mm-hmm.
And this song has been on my depression playlist. Essentially, I think it's good because I think one of the strongest things you can do is essentially when things get hard, I think the common thing people tell you to do is push through, keep your head up, you got this, you will come out the other end. But you never hear about how people recognize that they're drained and they're tired and they can't go forward. I think there's power in recognizing that and not pushing yourself to keep going forward and turn back and regroup yourself. So I think there's a lot to say about just going back and either asking for help or reclaiming what's yours, reclaiming your own power to be able to go forward to your next door. Sometimes you gotta turn around and look at the switch to go forward. It's not always gonna be in front of you.
Turn around.
Every now and then I get a little bit high. Turn around.
Bright eyes.
Every now and then it
Oh,
falls
gosh.
apart. Need you night.
Oh god, we're
I don't know all the lyrics to that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I know, because it's PlayStation 2. It was on the Pop Mix, and I listened to it, I sang it about it like a billion times. It was like the Pop Mix 2.
I played SingStar Pop.
SingStar Rock, like they have different ones, like Rock Pop. There's a German Top 100 coming. Now we know all this. Coming back to like a let's close the door. Let's find closure.
We walked forward through our door now.
Mm-hmm.
What would you give The Beginner's Guide rating?
Okay, should we go by the same list that we did last time, just so we can keep it coherent? Okay.
Yeah.
It might, some things might not apply. So how are characters with mental health disorders portrayed? I find that very interesting because in the end, we only have Davy as a narrator, and he's an unreliable narrator. So technically, he portrays Coda and then imposes that onto us, the player. And I think if
there's a lot of projection.
There's a lot of projection, and then if you only look at Davy, the portrayal, it was very raw. It was very real. It was very relatable.
Oh, it felt very personal too.
Personal.
I felt like I was kind of reading, especially at the end, I felt I was intruding on a conversation I wasn't meant to see. You know, like I felt like when two friends are arguing and you're kind of the third wheel and you can't really take a side, but you're just kind of caught in the middle and everything's awkward. That's how it felt. It was, you're right, it's raw and it's uncomfortable.
Yes. It's a very, very good portrayal in its sense that it's real, raw, and personal. Feels personal. Like, I think this is, it's not black and white. It's a very, very gray portrayal, and that's what makes it so fantastic. And I think you can't really compare this game to other games, but if I would compare it to characters from Life is Strange, then the character's portrayal doesn't compare to this one. There's just no way.
How would you say it triggers? I feel like you had a few points where you needed a second to breathe.
So
respectfully, so
yeah. So it does.
It's a very audible game.
Yeah. So I feel like it does trigger, but however, it doesn't shock. I think oftentimes video games, they seek to trigger a certain response by shocking you, by showing you very triggering images usually. And you don't have anything of that in the beginner's guide like that. You don't have blood or gore or people I don't know, self-harming or killing themselves by suicide, dying by suicide. You don't have that. It is solely, it works through narration, music, and content matter, but very abstract content matter. And in that sense, yes, it does trigger. It doesn't, it made me think. It didn't hurt me in a really, really bad way. It didn't trigger me to feel bad about myself, I would say. It made me think.
Would you say it kind of made you aware?
Yes, absolutely.
So, I don't know if I'm a little egotistical, but when I played this when I was 15, and I would say it's one of the reasons I was so emotionally mature for my age. That and having kind of that realization of, I don't even know how to put it into words, but just, man, I wish I could apologize to my teenage self sometimes, because I don't think there's any reason a 15-year-old should feel like that, you know? And I was.
Yeah. I think just that sentiment is really good. Because I used to blame my 16-year-old for her shortcomings, and that you recognizing that you want to apologize and just, I don't know, hug. I think that's a very, very so that showcases that you have done a lot of work already.
And I think everybody in their life has someone they have to apologize to that they haven't. I know I do, totally. And maybe people I don't even realize that I've done wrong that I should apologize to. Does that make sense? I'm sure I was an asshole at some point and was just in my own head, and I'm sure someone does, but I hope no one to an extreme resents me or holds some type of resentment, hatred.
You're very, very that's very, very right.
What is your overall recommendation?
10.
How many lampposts would you give this game? 10? Really?
No, yes, I don't even have to think about it. Okay, it's a game that made me cry. It made me emotional from like the very start. It had a very it made things clear without flashy visuals, without fancy like
I love
engines
the
and
visuals.
stuff. Yes, they worked so
It's
well with
so
this, but they weren't like
it's so minimalistic,
it's
but
not like The Last of
not
Us, The Last of Us 2 or something.
yeah.
You know, like it's not like Detroit Become Human. It's perfect for what it is, and it makes you. That's it. It makes you more focused on what is narrated. It makes you more you more drawn inward, because especially as someone with like ADHD, it's really easy to get distracted because bird brain, and then if you don't have that, you're forced to deal with whatever this makes you feel and what happens right now. You don't get distracted that much, and
Yeah.
that's why it's so good.
Honestly, the parts made me emotional was watching you get emotional. Because
Oh,
then that kind of brought me back to my first time, and I'm like, she gets it. I'm so proud. Because that was one of the things that, because I said this to you when I was younger, I would gatekeep this game. I didn't want
mhm.
anybody to know about it. It was so personal to me. It was like treasure. But now since I'm older, I'm like, oh my god, everyone needs to play this. Like, this is such a good message. It's so important. And I think everybody, like I've been saying, relates to it in some way, which I think makes it such a good game because it allows you to apply your own narration to it of who you are.
Yes. Yeah. So what would you? So I mean, now you already said that you like this game. You want everyone to play it. What do you give this out of 10 out of 10 door riddles? How many door riddles?
Door riddles. I mean, man, you said 10, so I guess I kind of want to say 10 now. My original thought is 9 because I'm not a stickler for perfection. But fuck it, I'll say 10. It's a perfect
Yeah.
10.
I
I'd say
don't know.
it really is really good. It's just and you're totally right about the I don't know, art style of it. I'm such a person to click on every single thing and go to every corner, and it's just easy to know that these are what's in front of you. This is the only thing that's in front of you. There's nothing hidden in any corner. This is it. This is
Yes.
all you're looking at. And this is what you're supposed to be looking at. There's
So
no
nice.
secret Easter egg. It's
Mm.
just listen, relax and listen. That's all you have to do.
I tried to jump off multiple times. I'm like, can I jump off here? Can I jump off here? I was like, can I do this? But yeah, this is I love to be railroaded in that sense. It's called that. Like you're railroad. She's looking at me so judgmental. Not
I don't know.
railed.
America we call that
Railroaded,
something
honey.
else.
It means that you're on tracks
Oh,
and that you can only go
okay.
one way. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So all right, you guys heard it here. We this is a perfect 10 for us. Apparently, I was also not sure if I wanted like, but you know what? No, it made me feel things, and like talking to you about this has been a delight. Especially,
Yeah, for real.
like especially looking at the time. Oh, but we had so
Oh
much
yeah.
to talk about.
I'm gonna love this one, baby.
I love you, Kat, and I love all of you at home. Guys, please follow Kat at twitch.tv/IamCatastrophic because she puts so much work into editing this. And then meanwhile, I'm like, have I logged into the YouTube for a while? Or not the YouTube, the Gmail. Maybe I should do that.
She doesn't even know which one.
Whoops. What's my
Oh.
what was the thing I was supposed to do? La la la.
It's funny because this also relates. It's like I always have more shit to add, but I was thinking of streaming my editing, but I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to editing. I don't want anybody to see my work before it's finished. And I don't like it when people are looking over my shoulder, and because whenever I do something, I can only think about someone who does it better than me being like, oh, why are you doing it that way? You're doing it wrong. So I can't handle that pressure. But maybe eventually I'll do it someday. I'll stream editing.
That would be really cool to watch.
But for now, no.
Okay, so follow us on Twitter at moddingmental. Go send us emails to moddingmentalhealth@gmail.com. I promise to read them. So far, nothing. Guys, come on. I don't know if you know what they're supposed to write us. Write us like recommendations for games and stuff. Write us if you hated our ratings. I want to know. Or if you loved them.
And while you're writing hate messages, go give the Little Messenger a follow over at twitch.tv/thelittlemessenger.
And all the other socials that you can find us, they're linked there. You'll see. You'll figure it out, I'm sure. Last but not least, is there a game you want me to play? Oh shit, yes, I almost forgot. Yes, there is. Okay, for next one. Yes, there is. Hold on. Let's stay with like the short games for now. I have a game that I
like those.
Yes. I have a game that I would like you to play. It's free, actually. It's called Marie's Room. And it is like a point and click sort of style. Sort of you're like it's a closed room thing. You're in one room and you find out the story of Marie. And
awesome, that sounds cool.
It's really freaking
I've never heard of it.
So I would love to see you play it. I only stumbled upon it like totally randomly. I'm glad I did. In 2 weeks. So oh my god, is that Christmas? Oh no, wait, because the episode is going to come out on the 15th, so it's the 29th then. It's the Between the Year episode.
Oh, yeah, the 29th.
Oh, it's the liminal space episode then. It's the weird time between. Wait, I said thank you for listening. Thank you for listening again. We'll see you on the 29th. Happy Christmas if you celebrate that. Happy holidays if you celebrate.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Kwanzaa.
Yule.
We're missing one.
Happy holidays, and if you don't celebrate, just have a good time and just, I don't know.
Have a good New Year.
Yeah, don't get
New Year, new me.
No, we're gonna see each other before the New Year. Hold on, don't get ahead of yourself there. Jeez. We'll be back. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.